and your priest. I want to mention to you a very dear volunteer here at the radio station who died just last week, Ms. Susan Johnson. She is a prayer warrior. I say is because I know she is still praying for us. But the thing that impressed me about her, she came and volunteered for our share-a-thons. And often during our share-a-thons, we have a few more volunteers than we have phones because they're really fun. So a lot of people sign up for them. So when we have extra people like that, she had the idea of setting up one of our empty offices at the time as a prayer room. She brought in these electric candles. She put together a binder full of prayers for people to pray. She brought extra rosaries. We dimmed the lights, made it a very meditative space. And this was all her doing. And when she came up with that idea, I recognized in her this a strength of prayer, a strength of faith that inspired me. And I turned to her several years later and I asked her if she would lead a prayer team for the Guadalupe Radio Network. And she did. She set it up. It's still going. And her funeral is going to be at St. Vincent de Paul in the Our Lady of Lourdes Chapel this Friday. I was told I could share the details. It's going to be the viewing and a rosary at 9 a.m., the Mass at 10 a.m. this Friday, St. Vincent de Paul, Our Lady of Lourdes Chapel. And let's pray for the repose of the soul of Susan Johnson, who was a very devout Catholic and supporter of this radio station. Another person I want to mention who recently passed on, Foshin Park, was a great pro-life warrior. A lot of you out there in the pro-life world will know Foshin Park. He died a few weeks ago, and his funeral took place last Wednesday. So I want to pray for the repose of his soul as well, and for his surviving wife, Cheryl. So Cheryl, if you're listening right now, our heart goes out to you, and thank you very much for your pro-life work as well. Okay, so the saints coming up this week. We've got Saint Ignatius Loyola today. That is a big one. He is the founder of the Jesuits. I mean, the Jesuits do such good work. Even as a non-Catholic in high school, and I was studying history, and we hit the Reformation and the Counter-Reformation. We were just going through as a history. I wasn't even Catholic. I was impressed with the founding of the Jesuits. The extra vow of obedience that they took, I was like, these guys are hardcore. And then the missions that they started, taking the gospel all over the place. We've got these two great Jesuit high schools here in Houston, Strake and Cristo Rey, and the St. Ignatius Parish, of course, and retreat centers all over that operate on the Ignatian spiritual exercises. It's a beautiful thing. So St. Ignatius Loyola, pray for us. St. Alphonsus Liguori, happening tomorrow. St. John Vianney, the patron of priests, happening on Friday. St. John Vianney, as we say in America. John Vianney is the parish closest to our studio here in Houston. So I always like to go over there for adoration. And one of my favorite mysteries of the Rosary, the Transfiguration, coming up this Sunday. The Transfiguration is one of those really weird stories in the Bible. If you don't know much about it, go read it. It's like, okay, I get it, why, but I don't know why it's here. Why is it happening? Think about it. You meditate on the Transfiguration, Jesus showing his glory, both as God and as man there in one body. It's absolutely spectacular. So just to share a few of those things with you. Carol, you are still doing your pilgrimage to visit every single church in our archdiocese, right?
Yes, I am. Before we start, I wanted to tell you that some of my favorite friend priests are Jesuits.
Yeah?
Yes,
Yeah?
yes.
Well,
So I understand what you mean.
give them a shout out if you want.
Yes, I will.
Yeah? Okay.
Well, they know who they are.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Hopefully they're listening right now.
Absolutely.
But where did your pilgrimage take you yesterday?
Well, this weekend I went to Mass at Guardian Angel Catholic Church. It's in Willis, Texas, which is about an hour west from Houston. And, I say an hour because that's how long it takes me to get there, okay?
Okay.
Now, you may be able to get there faster.
Yeah, our Katie listeners are
Yes,
halfway there already. Okay.
It's on the way to San Antonio for me. But anyway, Mass was great. The music was too. And the pastor there is Father Thuy Nguyen. And Tim, I was just blown away by this church. I know you've heard me say that over and over again, how amazing, how beautiful parish is. But then I'm finding more and more treasures as I go, and the guardian angel is definitely one of them. And in fact, it's in the U.S. National Register of Historic Places.
Wait, is this one of those painted churches?
Yes, yes. On the
Oh,
outside, it's
wow.
painted. Yes,
Oh, okay.
Okay, well now you've given away some of the things I was going to say.
Well, no, no,
Yes,
you surprised me. I was like, oh, I didn't realize this was in that series of painted churches. Tell us about it. Tell us about
well,
it. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you about the church. Yes, It was the outside of the church. The inside and the outside, first of all, have this Gothic look. Okay. The sanctuary is so amazing and colorful, and it has a statue of the angel standing over a child, and there are incredible altars on both sides of the sanctuary. And Tim, these altars are some of the altars that I've seen in Rome or abroad
Yeah,
and
yeah,
other
the old
countries.
style, the high altars, yeah.
Old style, you Gothic look, pointed uh, 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 altars.
Yeah, yeah.
Remarkable. Anyway, the craftsmanship of these altars is incredible. But everything from the sanctuary to the walls to the ceiling to the glass, stained glass, everything there is absolutely amazing. I mean, there is a special revealing also to people if they take a tour there. But again, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but if you want to see what it is, you have to go to that parish
Okay.
to check it
Okay.
out. Yes. I'm
Guardian
sure
Angel in Wallace,
yes,
Texas.
yes.
Okay.
And outside the church, Tim, is also something unique. If you want to sit down with Jesus at the Last Supper, you could do that. Or you can visit with Mother Teresa of Calcutta, who's also sitting there smiling and sitting on a bench. So that was incredible. And so this parish is definitely a must-see. In fact, they do tours of the church. Father told me that, in fact, I think it's St. Helen also does tours, and they were there, so they come from south all the way to the west to take a look at that parish. But it is beautiful. And I want to give a shout out to Pastor Wynn for my mini tour. It was just incredible. And we were outside and we were taking pictures, Tim, and it was really hot. So I definitely want to give him a shout out for that.
Well, I love to hear how far and wide our archdiocese goes. There are churches well outside of our radio broadcasting signal. I'm not sure if our signal reaches Wallace or
yes,
not.
Yes, it did.
Oh,
yes,
good.
I
Okay.
listened to the radio station all the way up to Wallace,
I mean, it
Texas.
shows you I haven't tested it that
No,
far
no,
out.
I have. Okay, I'm testing it.
Great.
And we even have a parish in Huntsville. I've yet to go there, but I plan to do that soon. But anyway, I want to give the website out for those who want to visit
Go for it, yeah.
the parish, guardianangelwallace.org. And what I learned, too, is this pastor is also the pastor, Father Wynn is also the pastor of St. Mary's Catholic Church in Fryedeck. So that's another area that I need to be going to, which I've never heard of, but I'm looking forward to it.
And a good reminder that we need to pray for vocations. We need more priests.
Absolutely, absolutely, because he told me that he goes from one church to the other, and he does several masses during the day, on any given time. And imagine all the other things they have to do, the responsibilities of funerals and everything else. So I could just imagine how busy he is. So my shout out to him.
Well, thank you, Father Tui Wynn, for your
definitely.
vocation. And thank you, Carol, for sharing that with us.
Absolutely.
I always love checking in with you, and maybe you'll have to do another go-around as you finish it.
Absolutely, yes.
Because you're coming up, you probably won't finish it this year, but...
this makes about 125.
125?
And there's about 152 parishes to go to.
Okay.
So, but Tim, I'm telling you, every time I go to a different parish, there's something unique about that parish that stands out that I definitely want to try to bring it back in some way or another. Sometimes there's some parishes, there's no words to describe it. You just have to go there and witness it. So
it's a great experience,
absolutely,
and I
Tim.
appreciate
thank
you
very
sharing
much.
that.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's time for our Loving Choice Minute. Loving Choice is the only Catholic pregnancy help center in the Houston area. There are lots of great pregnancy help centers, but this one's Catholic. And so they are a sponsor of this program, and we check in with them each week to see what's going on. Today we have Martha Villegas, who is joining us. Martha, are you with us?
I am. Tim, I'm here.
Hey, great. Glad to have you here. What's new at Loving Choice this week?
We seem to always be busy, so we're here to see our clients, whether it's by appointments or depending on how busy we are. If we have walk-ins, we absolutely try and take the walk-ins the same day. So
yeah, good.
We're here.
So what is your main role there? Are you a volunteer or are you on staff?
No, I'm staff. I started out as a volunteer, and then after a few months of volunteering, I was given the opportunity to become part of the staff. I am part-time.
Okay. So what does that look like for you? What are your typical duties, and how do you interact with the clients?
Well, my main focus is to make sure that we're properly staffed. So I staff and schedule the different shifts here at Loving Choice. And our goal is to have one lead and 3 to 4 advocates on every shift, with at least one bilingual person on each shift. Sometimes that really doesn't work out, and when that doesn't work out, then either the admin assistant or myself, we're pulled in to help out wherever we're needed.
Right.
So, that can be, helping advocate or translate during the ultrasound, do a pregnancy test, answer the phones, do data entry. Just wherever we're needed is where we fill in. So aside from that, I make sure that our volunteers are in compliance with CMG, the Safe Environment. I also, notarize their background checks, and I get them mailed to the state of Texas. I prepare stats for the monthly board meetings.
So really, you're the volunteer wrangler. You're the one that when people volunteer, you're going to be scheduling them. You're going to be helping them with the paperwork. You're going to be,
Yes.
do you train them as well?
No.
Okay.
We have different people that do different types of training, and that all depends on if they want to be an advocate or if they want to just be a class facilitator. So they don't have to just volunteer as an advocate. We have different areas that they can volunteer, and so we have different types of trainings that go with that.
So as you are scheduling out the volunteer shifts and you're making sure you've got the leads, you've got the bilinguals, you've got the advocates there, what are the gaps that you wish, I just wish I had somebody to fill in this, or man, we're really low on this kind of volunteer right now. What are the gaps that you're seeing from your point of view?
We actually need an advocate to work with our clients now. I mean, that's where we're short. We need advocates.
Is that the kind of job that anybody can do? You just need to show up, or do you need to have some sort of specialized knowledge for that?
Well, no, I mean, you don't have to have the knowledge. You just have to be willing to come in and work face-to-face, with our clients. And if that's what you choose to do, then we give you the proper training. And you start off as a shadow. We don't just, throw you in there and you start talking to the client. They shadow, they come in and shadow for a bit, and the lead will work with them to get them where they need to be. And because of being part of an advocate, you also have to input all their information into the database. So that's another part of training that we have for each volunteer.
So really, you could be using people of any kind right now who are willing to just talk with the clients, the moms who are coming in, who are in these crisis pregnancies or just need some guidance, and the person who's willing to talk with them, you will guide them into that process as well. Where do people go if they want to visit Loving Choice? Is it's in the Spring area, right?
Yes, we're in Spring area, 17835 Kirkendall Road, Suite 103. Our zip code is 77379. And you can start out by coming in and taking a tour, and then, be made aware of all the positions that we have available for volunteers. And then, it's up to that person, wherever they feel the need is, and, we'll absolutely take them in and guide them.
Good. And it's a very attractive office space you've made there with the chapel and the advocate rooms and the kids' rooms and everything, and the boutique.
Yes.
It's really great to take a tour. I know we don't have a lot of time left, but I wanted to ask real quick, Martha, how did you get involved? You said you started off as a volunteer. How did you hear about it? What made you choose to volunteer with Loving Choice before becoming a staff member?
Well, I worked at a church previously, and one of the volunteers at the church would come in and she would talk about loving choice all the time. And so I thought, I think that's something that I would like to do. And then when I left the church, I thought, well, I think this is the perfect time for me to get involved. And so I did. I had a couple of people that worked here at Loving Choice who also, put a bug in my ear and said, come on in, we need you. So I did, and I love it.
And now you are passing that forward, putting that call out to everyone that's listening right now, whether
yes,
they want to come up to Spring or
I'm
just
blessed
go to the website.
Yes, go to the website. You can go to the website, or you can call, and we'll get you in touch with somebody that can give you a call back, and set up a tour, and hopefully you'll work out. And you'll be
Of course. And at very least, we ask everyone to pray for the moms who are coming in, pray for the volunteers there, and pray for the Loving Choice staff. So thank you very much, Martha Villegas, for joining us to give us our update on Loving Choice this week. The website is loving-choice.org, loving-choice.org. Always make the loving choice. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to hear from our executive director, Wyatt Goolsby, on the report that he did from the chant school that happened just this last weekend at the seminary, because Gregorian chant is one of the most beautiful things in our world, and you're going to hear that firsthand here on the Catholic Lunch Break on AM 1430. Southeast Houston Cardiology is a proud sponsor of this Guadalupe Radio Network station and The Doctor Is In with Dr. Ray Garendi. Southeast Houston Cardiology has been serving patients with heart disease and vascular disease with up-to-date, compassionate, and comprehensive care for more than 20
For tickets and tables, please visit our website at grnonline.com.
Even if you believe God has a plan for your future, it can be challenging to figure it out. Most people experience uncertainty, doubt, fear when searching for their vocation. Hi, my name is Father Richard McNeely, and I'm the Vocations Director for the Archdiocese of Galveston-Houston. I want to help you hear God's voice and discern God's will for your life. Contact me at HoustonVocations.com for spiritual direction and guidance as you discern your vocation in life. Again, visit HoustonVocations.com and get in contact with God.
Listen to The Spirit World with Debbie Georgianni and Adam Bly.
Demonic activity appears to be on the rise. I'm Debbie Georgianni, and I invite you to join Adam Bly and me this weekend for The Spirit World.
On The Spirit World, we offer a Catholic perspective on angels, demons, and how the spiritual and physical worlds interact.
Saturdays at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern on the Guadalupe Radio Network and other EWTN radio affiliates. Visit grnonline.com/spiritworld.
You're listening to the Catholic Lunch Break, where we catch up on everything Catholic in Houston. My name is Tim Mott. If you'd like to see the video for this live, you go to Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter and search for GRN Online. GRN Online, the same as our website, www.grnonline.com. Catholics from across the greater Houston area are drawing closer to Christ through sacred music, specifically Gregorian chant. Many locals may not realize that Houston has a school to teach the faithful. May not realize that Houston Director Wyatt Goolsby visited St. Mary's Seminary.
United to Word.
Kutarna says the summer workshops have steadily become more popular over the last 8 years. This year recorded the most ever, with 45 participants.
This is something that we need to continue to share. It has been the music of the Mass for countless saints throughout the Church's history that help us continue to deepen our experience of the mystery of the sacred liturgy.
One of those attendees who has grown in her understanding of the sacred liturgy is Ellen Huffman-Zeckman. She traveled all the way from Oklahoma, due in part to her devotion to the music of the Church. She used to attend an Episcopalian church before she converted to Catholicism 4 years ago.
I can be very upset or tense about something and go and sit in Vespers, and it just calms me down. It has such a healing effect.
Huffman-Zeckman, who is a medical doctor, has been researching the positive effects of Gregorian chant on the human brain.
It opens the mind as far as absorbing the literature that goes with it.
Whether it's scientific, spiritual, or both, sacred music continues to attract men and women of all ages. Robin Stone is active in Catholic young adult groups across the greater Houston area.
I think everyone can learn something, and it is to deepen the faith, and I think that's really the purpose of this chant school, is not so much learn the technicalities, it's about learning how this professes the faith and being able to share that.
Even if you don't have a musical background, Stone and others at
Annunciation does a lot, so you can hear Gregorian chant at Annunciation downtown a lot. So there are Our Lady of Walsingham too, not only Gregorian chant, but also the Anglican chant as well. So you've got a lot of great options here. So pay attention to the music you find at different churches. I know Carol's been listening to that. I'd like to welcome to the Catholic Lunch Break now Matt Johns, the Senior Development Director for Catholic Charities, and Gladys Brumfield James, the Executive Director for the Mamie George Community Center in Fort Bend. Matt and Gladys, welcome to the Catholic Lunch Break.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. We appreciate it.
Glad to have you both back. I think you've been here before, right?
Yes.
I know Matt has. I know you have two Gladys. Okay, good.
Right.
So what we're doing is we're checking in on the Catholic Charities' big presence in Fort Bend. I know Catholic Charities is huge. You got the Midtown and downtown locations, the Galveston. There's a lot of stuff going on in Galveston, but Fort Bend is really the happening place, I think. Mamie George is really, really huge. So Gladys, as we're fixing the microphone there, excellent. No, right there. That's perfect. So what is the Mamie George Center like? What do you guys do?
Oh, Tim, it's a fabulous place, and I'm not the only person that will say that. It's absolutely fabulous. You walk in, you feel the love, you feel the presence, and it's just a great place to be for anybody in the community. It is a real community center.
Yeah.
We do focus on seniors, but it's a community center for all those that come into the building. But our focus is on seniors. We have a senior wellness center where seniors are able to come. They can work out in a state. It's a great art project. And the Trinity's Market, it's just always something going on. And just recently, we enjoyed a senior citizen prom. That was such a blast. A prom.
You got to tell me about that. A senior citizen prom.
Our theme was the Roaring 20s. They were dressed. I mean, the seniors pulled out their diamonds and their pearls, and they had on their gowns and their just looking like a picture from the Roaring 20s. So we had food donated by Pier 36. There was dancing. We had a fabulous DJ, and it was from like 2 p.m. until 5 p.m. At 5:15, I had to threaten the DJ, no more songs.
Oh, my goodness.
They have got to stop dancing. It's time to go home.
These are the seniors that
These
you're
are the seniors.
Yeah. So if I were to show up on a typical day, like what would I find going on there at Mamie George?
Okay, let's say you walk in, there may be a group of people waiting to get assistance. They might need financial assistance, or they want to pray, because we do have a meditation room at the center. But then you walk through, and they gather first thing in the morning for coffee and just to talk to each other, greet each other. And then there's art projects going on. There's several. During the week, we have 5 or 6 different group exercise classes, from senior Zumba to yoga, sit and be fit. So all of those classes are going on. And these activities are mostly for seniors that are 55 and older, and if they live in Fort Bend County.
But it sounds like it's just a fun place to hang out as well.
It's a fun place to hang out.
Not even if you're not doing an activity, you might just meet somebody and
You might,
have
and
a
it's
conversation.
great opportunities to volunteer.
Yeah. Saturday. One
Saturday. This past Saturday. That was when Shane told me the numbers. I was so impressed, and the auto altar were right there from about 6:30 or 7 a.m. until we give out all the food.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
But that distribution was only about 2.5 hours long, so you can imagine how fast you have to process all these individuals, go through the registration process, and get all these cars going through.
That's like a drive-through line, right?
It's amazing, yes. And the Order of Malta does a remarkable job of organizing all the people and making sure that the food is distributed not just well and equitably, but with dignity.
Yeah,
and you can see it it's really a true hands and feet of Christ moment. People who are coming in need, and like Gladys said, this is the largest we've ever had on a Saturday distribution. And people are coming through and thanking every single individual that's helping them right then. They know that this is done out of love by people who don't have to be there.
Okay, wow, yeah. And where is it located? Like, so if someone's hearing this and they're like, man, this is great, I wonder if I could volunteer, or if I just want to stop by for a visit, like, where would they go to find it?
We're located at 1111 Collins Road, Richmond, Texas, 77469.
Okay.
So it's right in the heart of an area that really need us to be there.
Okay, so in Richmond, Texas, on Collins
Yes.
Road, maybe I can stop by there because I live in
You should.
Sugarland. I think maybe it's not too far from
It is
my place.
not. Just a hop skip.
Okay, great. So one of the big things, you mentioned that a lot of this is volunteer driven. Your staff is from Catholic Charities. Do you have a large staff as well to manage the volunteers? Or?
We do not have a large staff. We have about 20 staff, part-time and full-time.
Majority volunteer operation, right? And so that involves bagging and all kinds of stuff. And a lot of these volunteers choose to support because they see the work that's being done out there. Like you were saying, when you walk in, it's a real welcoming environment, and you really get a chance to involve yourself in people's lives, people who genuinely and desperately, in some cases, need you to support them. And a lot of times, this involves financial assistance or things like that as well. Of course, we need to keep the lights on as well, but this is an incredibly involved operation. We're so grateful for all the donors that support us, either grantors, individuals, the local Catholic churches who are so good at supporting us. And we do have our upcoming event here, our annual gala, the Mission of Love event.
It's really a celebration. It's like you've got all this stuff going on at Mamie George. You've got these seniors just living it up. You've got millions of pounds of food being given away. And this Mission of Love gala each year really is a chance to just celebrate what God is doing through Catholic Charities
And
there.
it sounds like you're speaking from a firsthand experience.
I
We
did
loved
get to
having you
go
and your
last
daughter
year.
there.
Yes. I know. You invited me last year. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. You did a cowboy theme last year. What is the theme this year?
It's the Faith, Hope, and Love Boat.
Okay. The Faith, Hope, and Love Boat. No, that's good.
It's a mission of love.
The mission of love. The love boat. Faith, Hope, and Love Boat. Got to make it the theological faith, hope,
we're
and
gonna
love.
it's gonna feel like a big cruise ship. Everybody's gonna be there, kind of the end of summer vacation kind of feel. But we're really excited about it. We're honoring Kathy and Mark Hotze this year, and I know
I
so
love
many.
them.
They're wonderful.
Kathy and Mark Hotze? Yes. Okay, great people. Tell me about them.
Yeah, well, I know that you've had Kathy on here multiple times. I'm sure Mark's been present around here as well. But
Mark drove me up to the shrine in.
Put it out there that there are honorees. I get messages all the time about people who've had some kind of interaction or some kind of direct or indirect relationship with them, and how much they appreciate the work that they've done. So we are so proud to honor them, share a little bit of our story and what they've done with us, but also to share what they've done through the greater Archdiocese as well.
Wonderful. Well, give us the details, when and where and how the people sign up and all that.
You bet. It's September 7th in the evening at 6 o'clock. It's Safari Texas Ranch out in the Sugarland, Richmond area. We're moving to the Infinity Ballroom this year, which is the newest ballroom there, and we're really excited about that too, because it kind of feels a little bit more like a cruise ship in that room too, so it's all fitting. But so it's going to be that night. It's a Thursday night, but I'm sorry, Heather Reichert and Amy Blahuda are our chairs this year, and folks in Fort Bend certainly know them, but they've been involved throughout the Archdiocese in many different capacities as well, so we're just flying high this year. We've got great people on our team. Of course, we always do, but
Are you looking for more? Are you looking for more underwriters right now to make this event happen?
That's always.
Always. Okay,
great
of
question,
course,
Tim.
yes.
So yes, we're always looking for underwriters, and we've already got some great support so far. But if you're looking to underwrite or interested in underwriting, you can go visit CatholicCharities.org/Mission of Love.
Mission of Love. That's the key phrase to remember right now. Mission of Love.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
CatholicCharities.org/Mission of Love. So September 7th, it's a Thursday evening at Safari Texas Ranch in the North Sugarland area.
That's correct.
Yes. Okay. That's going to be a ton of fun. And what really does this gala accomplish? And in addition to just celebrating all the wonderful
But more than that, an opportunity to really applaud Mark and Kathy Hotze, who were so humble and just so generous that we're really excited to honor them this year.
And the cruise ship theme, I'm very much looking forward to that, too.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to do my best to come September 7th at Safari Texas Ranch. So Matt Johns, Senior Director, Development Director for Catholic Charities, and Gladys Barfield James, Executive Director of the Mamie George Community Center. Thank you for joining us on the Catholic Lunch Break.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
it,
having
Tim.
us.
Glad to have you here. When we come back after a quick break here, we're going to be talking with our Catholic school superintendent as a preview, a sneak preview of what's coming up this year in Catholic schools as we head back into school this August. You're listening to the Catholic Lunch Break, where we catch up on everything Catholic in Houston.
Do you believe in miracles? Fullness of Truth invites you to explore the miraculous at their 17th Annual Catholic Family Summer Conference in San Antonio, August 18th through the 20th. This year's theme is Miracles Do Happen, Grasping Catholicism's Supernatural Treasure. Hear dynamic presentations by Bishop Gary Yannick, Dr. Edward Surrey, Adam Bly, Sister Miriam James, and other special guests. Don't miss out on this opportunity to learn more about your Catholic faith. For details, go to fullnessoftruth.org.
Active shooter events have become all too common across the country. They are unpredictable and evolve quickly. Knowing how to properly respond to an active shooter can be the difference between life and death. I'm Deputy Barry Curtis of Harris County Constable Precinct 5. Our certified instructors conduct free trainings on how you should respond to an active shooter to save lives. We also have other programs for kids, teens, and adults, all for free. Just contact Harris County Constable Precinct 5.
That Mamie George Mission of Love Gala, that's going to be a great thing. I'm really looking forward to that. There's another event that I want to tell you about. It's happening right before that. It's going to be September 2nd. This is something else entirely. It's called Radio Fest. It's put on by Edwards Family Entertainment. And the reason I mention it, it's kind of an artisan market festival thing. They're donating to Guadalupe Radio Network as their selected charity for this artisan market. So I put them in touch with people over at Prince of Peace, and I think they're really ramping that up. They're going to do it at Prince of Peace Catholic Church September 2nd. Going to have a live music, some activities, a lot of stuff to buy because it's really just a vendor market. And then they're going to make a donation to GRN. So I'm going to try and be there, and we're going to try and broadcast from it as well. If you are a vendor, like you go to farmers markets or you go to other artisan markets or parish festivals or something, and you have something to sell, then I recommend you contact John Edwards or Lizzie Edwards at edwardsfamentertainment.com. edwardsfamentertainment.com. I think they're fairly picky about who they allow in, and some categories may be full, but I don't have the details on that, so you might have a shot at it if you go to edwardsfamentertainment.com and just tell them you're interested in Radio Fest on September 2nd. They'll get you the details. Right now, joining us on the Catholic Lunch Break are Superintendent Deborah Haney, Dr. Deborah Haney from our Catholic Schools office, and Dr. Maisie McCoy, the Assistant Superintendent of Governance and Leadership. Debbie and Maisie, welcome to the Catholic Lunch Break.
Thank you.
We're glad
for
to be
having
here.
us.
Great. This is, it's still July, technically, for another...
Great, and give students opportunities to worship the Lord in the Blessed Sacrament. And
That's what sets Catholic schools apart.
Yes,
is
we
our
are
faith. Yeah,
thrilled that they are going to have opportunities to go to adoration and to Mass and all of those beautiful things. So that's the first thing I think that's most important. Secondly, we are starting a partnership with the Kuzma Foundation for a program called Smart Families Shaping Souls.
Smart Families Shaping Souls.
Mm-hmm. And it's an opportunity for parents to pledge to not give their children a smartphone until after 8th grade.
Wow. Okay. No, that's good.
That is
good. Very good. And if people hadn't thought of that before, why would that be the case? Why would you be asking people to pledge that?
Sure. Because we have learned the effect on the brain of technology and of not letting the dendrites grow that need to grow in the brain as they're developing. And asking parents to say, you know what, we value our children and their brains, and we value our family time and the types of activities we're going to do with our children. And just encouraging them we understand that sometimes they need a cell phone, because especially if they're in athletics or after school clubs.
And there's no payphones on the street anymore, so.
Right?
Yeah.
But giving them that kind of cell phone is okay, but a smartphone gives them access to the internet, gives them access to kind of at their fingertips, a lot of things that have a detrimental effect on their
Yeah,
soul,
not
especially.
even not just the content, but
Oh.
not as you said, it deteriorates brain function. Hey, where can people learn more about that? Would they contact their local Catholic school for this?
Schools has an advisory school council which supports the work of the strategic plan. So advising the pastor and the principal in their work with the strategic plan on each of those campuses. And so those are volunteers. They could be either parents or parishioners or community members. And so being volunteers, of course, they need some guidance in that area. And so part of my role is just working with those advisory school councils to make sure they understand their role so that they can best support their individual campuses.
I think that's kind of the theme on today's show is volunteering. We already talked about Loving Choice, volunteering with the pro-life movement up in Spring, and then down in the South, volunteering with the Mamie George Center, and now with our Catholic schools, volunteering at schools all over the city. So what would those advisory councils really kind of be doing with the pastor and the principal? So how does that work for the volunteers?
Sure. So they are working to support the strategic plan. Each one of our schools has a strategic plan which has goals outlined for the different domains. So goals for facilities, goals for finances, goals for the academics, goals for volunteering, right? And so these volunteers, these strategic plans, these school councils are assisting and just helping with those strategic plans, monitoring the strategic plans, helping with the goal setting, advising the pastor and the principal on the goal setting, following the timelines to make sure that we are best supporting our schools and just being that voice to support the pastor and the principal.
I love that you're mentioning the pastor and the principal together because some places, the school and the church can kind of
a good career path to follow.
So it's really going to be doing a lot of stuff that college prep schools aren't doing, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Leadership skills, collaboration skills, critical thinking in terms of working on a team, being able to collaborate on different projects. And they're doing a project-based learning model in the school, and they'll have...
What do you mean by project-based learning model?
So, for example, if they're taking a course with finance, let's just say, then the group will come together and they'll be given a problem that they might find in the finance world, and they'll be asked to solve the problem. And so they work together with that project to try to solve the problem and produce something that they might have to do in the workforce in the future.
Nice. Okay. Now there's some real hands-on training there.
Is,
and St. Peter's, this is their first year. They're opening like when?
Next week.
Next week.
With their first class, so it's exciting.
Are they still accepting applications even at this late date?
They are still accepting applications. There are some limited spots, and there's plenty of tuition assistance available. We've been very fortunate from donors to be very generous with tuition assistance to get students in the door and to help support families for a Catholic education. So
this
very
is good.
happy about that.
So St. Peter's, I guess if people are interested in that, they would go to the website choosecatholicschools.org?
They could absolutely go to our website, or they can go to the St. Peter High School website.
Okay, so just Google St. Peter High School, vocational school, high school.
St. Peter Catholic High School.
Catholic High School. St. Peter Catholic High School in Houston. Okay, that's exciting. We've got the Smart Families Shaping Souls. That's going to be rolled out at a bunch of different schools. What else? Are there any new schools, maybe popping up that we should be aware of?
So there are some brewings happening.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. And one big thing that I know is that you've announced that this is your last year as superintendent.
It is. My husband and I are moving out of the Houston area, and so I gave my notice so that the Cardinal would have plenty of time to find a replacement. So June of 24, I will say goodbye to this role and open the door to whatever God has in store for me, which I'm not quite sure what that is yet.
Oh, well, it's really great working with you.
Plan.
I'm glad I have another 11 months working with you here in our Catholic schools. That's exciting. So we're going to pray for Cardinal as he seeks to fill that position. So, Dr. Maisie or Debbie, is there anything else that I've missed that we need to focus on as we go into this school? Any advice for parents as they're getting ready? Like, that hectic time of like, oh, got to get the schedules, got to get the supplies, got to get them back into school. What advice do you have for parents?
I think the advice I would give to parents is to work with your school, work with the administration, work with the teachers, take their guidance, attend those back to school meetings, those parent information sessions, and just be open to the guidance given by the administration. So, you know, our schools are wonderful institutions where our students are in a safe environment, not only physically, right, but emotionally as well. So they are safe to take those risks and to think outside of the box, to problem solve so that they can go out into the world and just really make a difference. But in addition to that, our schools are centered in Jesus Christ, right? So everything we do, whether we're teaching math,
Right? So we have 5 independent schools and 40 elementary parish schools.
Okay, that's interesting. 5 independent schools there. So if anyone wants to, find out what Catholic school is right for them at whatever grade level, in whichever location, with whatever financial assistance, choosecatholicschools.org is the best website to go to?
Yes, and there's a little link on there, or a little tab that you can find a school and put in your zip code, and it'll show you the closest Catholic schools to your area.
ChooseCatholicSchools.org. Great URL, by the way. I announce a lot of websites, and I always look for the ones that are easy to say on the radio, and that's a good one. ChooseCatholicSchools.org. Well, Dr. Maisie McCoy and Dr. Deborah Haney, thank you so much for joining us here on the Catholic Lunch Break.
Thank you for having us.
for having us.
It's great to talk to everybody. Taylor, Carol, thank you very much for putting this show together and for helping me with this. I'm not sure I could do this by myself, especially with that video component. I want to ask the listeners to pray for you guys and pray for me and pray for the radio station here, KSHJ, because we are going through a transition right now with, as you can Taylor, all the construction happening right now. We're going to be tearing down this studio that we're currently broadcasting from and putting in new equipment, new configuration, all kinds of stuff. It's going to be optimized for video. Our executive director, Rudy Carlos, is working on that and moving us into the digital realm. But I think that this is here in Houston. And listeners, we've been giving you opportunities to volunteer all over